Chapter 14. Reluctant Arrow, grant me this boon permission to skedaddle. I had the fields of Mars all to myself. Since no war games were scheduled that evening, I could frolic through the wasteland to my heart's content, admiring the wreckage of chariots, broken battlements, smoldering pits, and trenches filled with sharpened spikes. Another romantic sunset stroll wasted because I had no one to share it with. I climbed to the old siege tower and sat facing the northern hills. With a deep breath, I reached into my quiver and pulled out the arrow of Dodona. I'd gone several days without talking to my annoying, far-sighted projectile weapon, which I considered a victory. But now, God's help me, I could think of no one else to turn to. I need help, I told it. The arrow remained silent, perhaps stunned by my admission, or perhaps I'd pulled out the wrong arrow and I was talking to an inanimate object. Finally, the shaft rattled in my hand. Its voice resonated in my mind like a thespian tuning fork. Thy words are true, but in one sense meanest thou? Its tone sounded less derisive than usual. That scared me. I'm supposed to show strength, I said. According to Lupa, I'm supposed to save the day somehow, or the pack, New Rome, will die. But how do I do that? I told the arrow all that had happened in the last few days. My encounter with the Euronomi, my dreams about the emperors and Tarquin, my conversation with Lupa, our quest from the Roman Senate. To my surprise, it felt good to pour out my troubles. Considering the arrow didn't have ears, it was a good listener. It never looked bored, shocked, or disgusted, because it had no face. I crossed the Tiber alive, I summed up, just like the prophecy said. Now, how do I start to jive? Does this mortal body have a reset switch? The arrow buzzed. I shall think upon this. That's it? No advice? No snarky comments? Give me time to consider, O impatient Lester. But I don't have time. We're leaving for Tarquin's tomb like... I glanced to the west, where the sun was beginning to sink behind the hills. Basically, now. The journey into the tomb will not be thy final challenge, unless thou suckest most woefully. Is that supposed to make me feel better? Fight not the king, said the arrow. Heareth thou what thou needest, and skedaddleth. Did you just use the term skedaddleth? I try to speak plainly to thee, to grant thee a boon, and still thou complainest? I appreciate a good boon as much as the next person, but if I'm going to contribute to this quest and not just cower in the corner, I need to know how, my voice cracked, how to be me again. The vibration of the arrow felt almost like a cat purring, trying to soothe an ill human. Art thou sure that is thy wish? What do you mean? I demanded. That's the whole point. Everything I'm doing is so... Are you talking to that arrow? Said a voice below me. At the base of the siege tower stood Frank Zhang. Next to him was Hannibal the elephant, impatiently pawing the mud. I'd been so distracted I'd let an elephant get the drop on me. I squeaked, my voice still ragged with emotion. I was just... The arrow gives prophetic advice. It talks in my head. Bless him. Frank managed to maintain a poker face. Okay, I can leave if... No. I slipped the arrow back into my quiver. It needs time to process. What brings you out here? Walking the elephant. Frank pointed to Hannibal. In case I might be considering which elephant. He gets stir crazy when we don't have war games. Bobby used to be our elephant handler, but... Frank shrugged helplessly. I got his meaning. Bobby had been another casualty of the battle, killed, or maybe worse.